I think we should get this celebration of philanthropy and volunteerism and community in Frederick County started. So to start this celebration, please silence your cell phone. That's the first part. Thank you for that. And as soon as I get the ready to go, this live streaming part is very different for us. That's why we had to wait. So thank you for your patience. Thumbs up, ready to go. Good evening and welcome to the Community Foundation's 35th annual report to the community. Nothing tops philanthropy. I'm Betsy Day, President and CEO, and I am so thankful that all of you are here or joining us as well. I want to extend a special welcome to those who are watching via the live stream through our website. This is the first time we've ever done this, and it's exciting that all of you can join us. And while you're watching, please use hashtag #NothingTopsPhilanthropy on your social media sites and help share our good news. We hope that we can all be here in person next year. There are several acknowledgments I need to make before we go forward. And the first, I need to thank our current and past trustees for their time and unwavering commitment to the Community Foundation. Their commitment, their leadership, their volunteerism, and sharing of their expertise is widely and deeply appreciated. Thank you, trustees. We must thank WDVM News again, who produced our Wertheimer Fellow vignettes. And they provide an overview of the work for which our volunteers are being honored tonight. Our thanks to Mark Cram, WDVM News Director, for making this possible, and their support is deeply appreciated. Let's give them a round of applause. I also must thank the Frederick News Post, Frederick Magazine, and Comcast for their media support in helping us to share how our grants and scholarships are making a difference in our Frederick County community. I also want to recognize the Community Foundation staff, the dream team, for their dedication and commitment to carrying out our mission. They work hard every day through the pandemic to ensure that nothing tops philanthropy. To my teammates, I honor you, and let's honor them as well. I need to give special thanks to Rob Summers and Tom Snyder for always hanging the sign. We always joke that they deserve their own Wertheimer Fellows for that. And Joyce Summers, I believe this will be your last annual meeting you're coordinating. Joyce, thank you so much for recruiting Rob and Tom and for all of your hard work. We appreciate you. And finally, a huge thank you to our partners in philanthropy. This year, 63 sponsors helped make this event possible. And part of that is our printed annual report, our executive summary, and our year in review video. Their names will be displayed at the end of the video and are also listed on our website. We sincerely appreciate your involvement. And now, let's talk about Nothing Tops Philanthropy. And when the pandemic first began, our donors rose to the occasion, helping with emergency funding. They also continued their philanthropy for non-COVID grant making and scholarships. That year of unprecedented events prompted us to title last year's annual report, Nothing Stops Philanthropy. And as we moved into fiscal year 2021, we found ourselves still deep in the pandemic, and again, our donors came through for COVID relief funding, gifts to the Forever Frederick County campaign, and our regular and general grant making and scholarships. Given all that was going on in our community and all that our donors have done, it seems appropriate to call this year's report, Nothing Tops Philanthropy. The Community Foundation is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. And Don Linton, our founder and my good friend, one of the founders that was the man with the idea to create a community fund to help others, envisioned an organization that would provide grants and scholarships and become a leader in creating favorable and lasting change in Frederick County. And Don, I say to you, look what you did. All the good. It's not your, he says that to me all the time, not my fault. And so here we are, 35 years later. The Community Foundation has indeed proved itself a leader, and while the organization is known for grants and scholarships, this work has led to its leadership because of changing times, changing demographics, and new generations of philanthropic folks in Frederick County. The trustees and our staff have embraced advocacy, education, and collaboration as guiding forces in our grant making. And the Frederick County Human Needs Assessment, both in 2011 and in 2018, led to countywide nonprofit and local government participation in work groups that found and continue to find innovative ways to positively move the needle to address critical areas in our community. Dr. Mandel will cover this area briefly in the video. Public education about these critical issues and needs has expanded and resulted in great community support. Every step of the way, the Community Foundation's role as leader, collaborator, educator, and advocate has helped ensure that nothing tops philanthropy. Now, let's look at the highlights of fiscal 2021 in this year in review video. The Community Foundation of Frederick County's fiscal 2021 year was highly successful, even as our community still found itself in the worldwide pandemic. Thanks to you, our generous supporters, you again demonstrated that nothing tops philanthropy. Your gifts continue to demonstrate your concern for your fellow citizens, with grants to nonprofits exceeding $5 million. Our board and grants committee remained collaborative by strengthening partnerships to aid those deeply affected by the pandemic. We also continue to provide grants for each of our 3 strategic areas and support for the arts, elder care, community services, agriculture, historic preservation, civic organizations, and more. Scholarships totaling $1.8 million were another highlight of fiscal 2021. Hundreds of students are achieving their educational goals and pursuing their career dreams with this vital financial assistance. It's easy to see how nothing tops philanthropy, with total contributions of $7.8 million from more than 3,400 gifts. You created 23 new funds, bringing our fund total to 750. Our community's remarkable, extraordinary support has allowed the Community Foundation to invest more than $78 million in grants and scholarships since 1986. Now, I'm pleased to introduce Michael DeLauder, who served as chairman of the Board of Trustees in fiscal year 2021.
Fiscal year 2021 was another unprecedented and challenging year. Yet again, our generous supporters proved that nothing tops philanthropy. Thanks to you, the Community Foundation provided vital support in the form of grants, scholarships, and leadership as our community continued navigating the COVID-19 pandemic. You demonstrated that philanthropy was of top importance during this time. As Frederick County grappled with the pandemic, we helped create a community of donors who showed their concern for their fellow citizens. The Community Foundation was strategic in its grant making and focused on assisting people coping with this crisis. We expanded our reach by working with the COVID-19 Philanthropic Funders Collaborative and other nonprofits to address food insecurity, eviction prevention, emergency shelter needs, and more. I want to mention the Feeding Frederick campaign, a project jointly managed by Frederick County Government, Alsherman Family Foundation, and the Community Foundation to establish an online map of free food resources throughout the county. Advertising was in English and Spanish. and included rack cards distributed countywide, bus signs, and newspaper advertising. This was another way that the community came together to help others. Thanks to you, we exceeded our $20 million fundraising goal for the Forever Frederick County Fund ahead of schedule. This is an immense achievement that Gordon Cooley, campaign chairman, will talk about more shortly. I want to add my thanks and appreciation to all the donors who understood the importance of creating this unrestricted fund that is so important to our future. Finally, nothing tops philanthropy when it comes to our 62 sponsors who have helped make this year's annual report to the community possible. Their names will be listed at the end of this video, and we are very grateful for their support.
Now, to talk about the Forever Frederick County campaign, I'm pleased to introduce Gordon Cooley, campaign chairman, to share the good news.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am honored to report that we have achieved our Forever Frederick County fundraising goal in record time, $21.8 million, surpassing our goal of $20 million, and over 2 years ahead of schedule. This is an extraordinary achievement considering the worldwide pandemic that overlapped this campaign by a year and a half. Your belief in preparing for the future became powerful acts of philanthropy that built an innovative and unique endowment for our community. While the campaign portion of this initiative has closed and we are celebrating its success, the Forever Frederick County Fund is just that, forever. Additional gifts to the fund to continue to build the endowment are welcome at any time because as it grows, so will our capacity to respond and help. The current pandemic is but one example of how the Forever Frederick County Fund would have, if fully endowed when the pandemic hit, provided $1 million for immediate local use. Because of your generosity and your deep concern for all who live here, the Community Foundation's ability to provide nimble and flexible grant making is deeply rooted. Thank you for supporting the Forever Frederick County campaign and contributing to this vital effort. It is because of you that nothing tops philanthropy.
Our successes in fiscal year 2021 only strengthened our resolve to help our community going forward. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Rachel Mandel, our Board of Trustees Chairman for 2021-22.
This last year was challenging, but very productive. It's provided us a new set of perspectives on which we can build. I would like to highlight several things that are priorities during the next year. First, we'll continue our grant-making programs to create maximum impact, while also remaining mindful of best practices addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion. We'll continue to expand our scholarship program so that more students receive the support that they need to be successful and to reach their educational goals. The Community Foundation will continue to provide a leadership role in partnership with the Frederick County Coalition for the Homeless, Trauma Responsive Frederick, Frederick County Healthcare Coalition, the Frederick County Interagency Early Childhood Committee, and the Frederick County Transportation Collaborative. These are but a few ways that we partner with other funders and nonprofits to support and carry out our strategic initiatives. Finally, we'll be updating the 2018 Frederick County Human Needs Assessment to learn how current needs may have been shifted and ensure that changes caused by the pandemic are identified and addressed. Thank you, donors, for continuing to show how nothing tops philanthropy in Frederick County. We look forward to another successful year.
Frederick County is strong, and you have helped make it stronger through these unconventional times. We are deeply honored that you have placed your trust in the Community Foundation to continue to help our home become even more vibrant. Together, we have proven that nothing tops philanthropy. Thank you. Look at what all of you made possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what a wonderful recap that was of fiscal year 2021. And special thanks to Michael DeLauder, Dr. Rachel Mandel, and Mr. Gordon Cooley for your board leadership. Your time, insight, and expertise are greatly appreciated. Our annual report, the printed copy, is available on our website for those of you who are watching, and the video of tonight's event will be posted by tomorrow morning. And now it's time to recognize our Wertheimer Fellows for Excellence in Volunteerism. I'd like to invite Dr. Rachel Mandel and Ann Reaver, second vice chairman, to join me on the stage. The late Janice Miller Wertheimer loved Frederick County. A philanthropist, a volunteer, she willingly gave of her time and her energy and talent to many, many organizations. She was the consummate volunteer. She was keenly interested in all things Frederick County. She started 3 funds with the Community Foundation, 2 of which resulted from a bequest in her estate provisions. Through one of these funds, Mrs. Wertheimer requested that the Community Foundation Board of Trustees determine the most appropriate way to support community service organizations in Frederick County. The Board of Trustees created the Wertheimer Fellow for Excellence in Volunteerism, an award to recognize the volunteer citizen, just like Jan Wertheimer, and to those whose legacy of giving back through volunteering improves lives in our community. The 2 Wertheimer Fellows selected annually each year are awarded $25,000 from the Janice Miller Wertheimer Endowment Fund to establish a new or to add to a permanent fund with the Community Foundation. And for these funds would be for the charitable cause for which they have the favorite or are the loyalty. This is the 10th year the Wertheimer Youth in Action Award is being bestowed. And this award honors youth under the age of 18 who positively impact the community by volunteering his or her distinctive talents and gifts in Frederick County. And this award recognizes that many youth in Frederick County are giving back to the community at an early age and in countless ways. And it also allows us to bring attention to this special group of volunteers. The Youth in Action honoree receives a $2,000 grant to give to the nonprofit of their choice. The first Wertheimer Awards were presented in 2003 and have recognized people who have impacted our community in countless ways. And I want to take a moment and thank all the Wertheimer Fellows again for their service. Their names can be found on the Community Foundation website at frederickcountygives.org. Each year, the committee receives very impressive nominations, and this year was no exception. Only 1 nomination is required, and sometimes the committee receives more than 1 nomination for a volunteer. The nominees bring very unique qualities to his or her volunteer work, and each was an example of the citizen servant who makes Frederick County the best it can be. And every nominee deserves this honor for his or her work, and the final decisions by the committee are very, very difficult to make. Our first honoree tonight is Hermine Bernstein. Hermine has been a longtime champion for children experiencing food insecurity in Frederick County. She is the founder of the Frederick chapter of Blessings in a Backpack and brought the program to this area after learning that many Frederick County students go home from school for the weekend uncertain if they will have a secure food source. Under Hermine's guidance and leadership, the program has grown to feed more than 3,300 children in 27 schools by creating a partnership with Frederick County Public Schools. She has worked tirelessly to recruit mentor volunteers, many of whom became school coordinators, operations coordinators, steering committee members, board members, and more. You don't say no to Hermine. And her fundraising efforts involved many businesses that created special items and donated proceeds, allowed change collection in buckets, and sponsored food packing events, deliveries, and so much more. She involved civic clubs and nonprofits, garnering their support for the cause. In addition, she found ways to provide food bags for children when school was closed for emergency purposes, such as inclement weather. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, the shift to online learning, Blessings in a Backpack continued. It did not stop. And it continued to provide weekend food for children by aligning services with FCPS food distributions. Hermine's initiative to start a weekend food backpack program when there was none in Frederick County has benefited thousands of children. Her accomplishments will continue to grow and make an impact for years to come in our community. With her award, Hermine is adding to the already existing Blessings in a Backpack Fund with the Community Foundation, which supports the organization's mission, programs, activities. Please join me in watching Hermine's video.
According to Feeding America, there are about 13 million children in the United States who worry about where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity not only deprives children of nourishment, but experts say it also impacts their mental health, which is why organizations like Blessings in a Backpack strive to put an end to child hunger. And locally in Frederick, Maryland, Hermine Bernstein is doing just that.
We started the Frederick chapter in 2013, and we began feeding children in January 2014. And we started by feeding 210 children at one school. And in 7.5 years, the organization grew to feeding over 3,000 children in over 25 local schools.
Bernstein is the founder of Frederick County, Maryland's A Blessing in a Backpack program. Her initiative to start this program locally ensured thousands of children in Frederick County would be fed during the school year. But her dedication did not stop there. Even when schools were closed, Bernstein wanted to make sure children did not go hungry, so she provided additional food bags to children during spring break, winter break, and holidays.
I mean, the thought of hungry children, it's just hard to wrap my brain around that.
And although Bernstein is now retired from her position, program volunteers carry out her mission.
Hunger affects students throughout the entire week, but you could see such an impact on the kids that struggled with getting food over the weekends. And when I found out about Blessings in a Backpack, that it was here in the community that I lived in, I knew that I had to volunteer to try to help the kids in the neighborhoods that I was a part of.
I'd like to thank everyone from Frederick County who has, embraced us, embraced the mission. And like I said, it was nothing but a good idea until everybody stepped up. So the volunteers and the community at large, it's just been wonderful.
Congratulations, Hermine Bernstein. Reporting for WDVM 25, I'm Nordea Lewis.
Hermine, please join us on stage. Hermine, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Community Foundation, we are pleased to present this plaque honoring you for your volunteer work with Blessings in a Backpack. Thank you, Hermine. Hermine, would you like to say a few words?
This is so exciting. I'd like to thank the Community Foundation trustees and the Wertheimer family. I'm deeply honored to accept this award and the generous donation which will benefit the children we feed through Blessings in a Backpack. Blessings was a true labor of love, but it never would have happened without the financial and hands-on support of so many wonderful people. My sincere appreciation to friends, family, the many donors and funding organizations who helped make my dream a reality. They say that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, Frederick is definitely the best. I'd like to give briefly some special thanks to my son Richard and son-in-law Michael for generously donating the seed money to start the program. I had no idea what I was doing or where the money would come from, and they stepped up. To my dear friend and colleague Barbara Dillon, there are no words to describe all that you selflessly gave to me personally and to the children we serve. And most of all, to my dear Fred, nothing in this life would be possible without your kindness, love, and support. You are truly the wind beneath my wings. And as we always say at Blessings, thank you all from the bottom of my backpack. I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Our next Wertheimer Fellow is Rose Dorsey Cheney. Rose's extensive volunteer work has helped build on Frederick County's foundation as a strong and vibrant community. Rose is a founding board member of the African American Resources Cultural and Heritage Society. In her 2 decades serving the organization, she has been engaged in every step of the way of the organization's growth. She helped build the programming and the exhibits, including a series of public programs and exhibits called Archways, which built the foundation for a long-term African American Resources Cultural and Heritage Center currently underway. Rose has been instrumental in recruiting volunteers and creating a robust communications program to bring awareness of Arch's mission. Rose's other community service activities are numerous and widespread, include previously serving for 15 years as a volunteer assistant editor and writer for the County Globe newspaper. She's a current member of the Frederick County Equity and Inclusion Advisory Committee, serves on the board of I Believe in Me, previously served on the board of the Religious Coalition for Emergency Human Needs, is a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and the Negro Business and Professional Women's Clubs. As a lifelong member of Asbury United Methodist Church, she serves as the church administrator. With her award, Rose is creating the David Key Memorial Fund for Arch Society with the Community Foundation to support the programs and initiatives of Arch and the Arch Heritage Center in honor of her dear friend David Key. Please join me in watching the video.
When Rose heard about her recognition, she says she was surprised and honored, but most of all, humbled.
I've never done anything for recognition. I do it because that's what I feel I should do. I try to stay in the background. I consider myself a helper more than a leader.
As a charter and current member of the African American Resources Cultural and Heritage Society, or ARCH, Cheney has spent her life ensuring that the stories of African Americans in Frederick aren't forgotten.
It's important to hear the experiences of African Americans and what they've contributed to the county and what they had to endure.
Elizabeth Chateau worked with Rose during the early days of ARCH. She says, it's hard to think of something that hasn't been in some way touched by Rose and made better.
She's driven to get important community goals achieved, but she does it in an unbelievably quiet but forceful way.
Rose considers herself a spiritual person. She says her faith is what motivates her to give back, not the recognition.
When you give back and try to improve the way things are, it's a feeling of accomplishment. You get more from it than I guess what you give.
Rose is a retired educator for Frederick County Public Schools, and she's also a current member of the Frederick Club of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and the Frederick County Equity and Inclusion Advisory Committee, just to name a few.
And suddenly there were layers of her activity in the community that I really didn't know about, but that, spoke to her just rich and varied involvement in the community.
Congratulations to Rose Cheney. Reporting for WDVM 25, I'm Cheyenne Corinne.
Rose, please join us on stage. Rose, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Community Foundation, we are pleased to present this plaque honoring you for your volunteer work with Arch and the many other organizations you've served. Congratulations. Rose, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you for this wonderful honor. I want to thank Liz Chateau and Ruth Dredden, who nominated me, and for all of those who contributed to the nomination. The Arch Society was formed by William O. Lee with a mission to share the African American experiences and history of Frederick County. His dream was to establish an African American museum in Frederick, and it's now becoming a reality. Thanks to the City of Frederick, the hard work and support of the most amazing volunteers there ever were, and the donors, and the leadership and dedication of our past president, David Key. I'm grateful for the opportunity to set up a fund for the Arch Society in David's memory, as he was truly the wind beneath the wings of Arch. The Arch Society Heritage Center will be more than a museum. It will be a place where visitors can learn about the African American experiences in Frederick County through the stories, exhibits, research, programs, dialogues, and activities. Learning this seldom told history brings understanding. Understanding brings the community together to reflect on the past and make changes for a better future for all people. Thank you, Community Foundation, for the opportunity to help fund this important endeavor. Thank you.
Rose, I think David would be very proud and honored with what you've done in his name, so thank you. Our final honoree tonight is Stella Henson. Stella, our Wertheimer Youth in Action honoree, has dedicated herself to improving her local community. Stella found Blessing in a Backpack, SHIP of Frederick County, the Literacy Council of Frederick County, and City Youth Matrix. She is very involved with Spanish-speaking community of Maryland, helping its clients with translation and completing paperwork, and also collecting supplies such as diapers that clients need and can't afford. Her numerous other volunteer activities include participating in the PJs with a Purpose program by creating quilts for babies in the NICU and helping many other local civic groups with their fundraising events. She has participated in mission trips with the Frederick Presbyterian Church Youth Group, shopped for families in need at Christmas through the Angel Tree program, and has served food and set up beds at the Religious Coalition for Emergency Human Needs Family Shelter. Stella serves both her school and her community without hesitation and continuously puts others before herself. She was recognized as a 2021 Dr. Ben Carson Scholar for her involvement in community service. Please join me in watching Stella's video.
Items, going out into the community and serving, physically taking her body to some place and giving up her time. The students are watching her.
And that's why her teacher, Sandra Zimmerman at Frederick High School, decided to nominate Stella as the 2021 Fellow. Stella was recently recognized as a 2021 Dr. Ben Carson Scholar for her involvement. Valuable. So much that some may wonder where she gets it from.
Seeing how my parents work tirelessly to help those that are underserved and areas of the world that do face challenges, that really inspired me.
Her heart is in the right place. I can see that she wants to help others. She's very thoughtful and very caring, so I think that others have been very caring as well, but I think she goes.
I work with the Spanish-speaking community of Maryland. They have two offices, one in Frederick and then one in Montgomery County. And so they work with people who are in poverty and then also immigrants.
Stella spends her
Is a person of character who probably spends a lot of her time on her academics and also on serving her community.
Her work doesn't stop there. During the pandemic, she helped some of her peers who struggled with their mental health. She wears many hats. She serves as SGA Vice President, class secretary, captain of the varsity girls soccer team, and with all she does, she still finds time to read.
I don't really do it for the thanks. I love school and I love learning, but it's also cool to be like, I'm in the real world.
WDVM 25, I'm Shanika Grimshaw.
Thank you for your volunteer work with Spanish-speaking community of Maryland and the many other organizations you've served. Stella, would you like to say a few words?
Good evening. I first want to say how I am honored to be recognized amongst these women who play such a vital role in our community, Ms. Hermine Bernstein and Ms. Rose Dorsey Cheney. They are inspiration to me, and I assume many of us here. Furthermore, I would like to thank my teacher, Mrs. Zimmerman, for nominating me because she saw something that she thought was worthy of the Youth in Action Award. To the Community Foundation and the Wertheimer family, thank you for giving me this recognition and the opportunity to give a grant to a nonprofit of my choice. And to Maria Herrera, the Executive Director of the Spanish-speaking community of Maryland, whose willingness to do whatever it takes to create self-sufficiency for families inspired me to give my money to them because I know that they can enact the most change. Finally, I don't know how many people here want to take advice from a 17-year-old, but I want to leave you all with this. It doesn't matter your age, background, or experience to make a difference. All you need is something you're passionate about, something that makes your heart sing, and to be able to think outside the box. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Maria Herrera, Executive Director of Spanish-speaking Community of Maryland, to the stage to accept the Wertheimer Youth in Action Grant. Maria, the Wertheimer Youth in Action Award provides Stella the opportunity to recommend a $2,000 grant to the nonprofit Spanish-speaking Community of Maryland as the recipient to help with the organization's good work in our community. Keep up the good work and congratulations. Congratulations, Wertheimer Fellows. Your dedication and commitment to volunteerism is truly remarkable and an inspiration to us all. Be here with you tonight. I hope you have enjoyed the year in review. Working together, we will keep the momentum going so that nothing tops philanthropy in Frederick County. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the trust you have placed in the Community Foundation and for your and having us as your charitable giving partner. This is the end of our program. Good night, be well. Thank you for all that you do. Good night.